Hi everybody, Chris Hardwick here again. This is one more video on the 4x4, and again this video is meant for beginners or those who are just interested in learning a little bit more about how these parity cases work. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a much shorter just example solve of how to solve the 4x4 parity cases using these more intuitive ways from my video series here. So the first thing I want you to notice is I've been working to solve the 4x4 by making it look like a 3x3. And now I've got what on my 3x3 would be my first two layers. So I've got all the stuff on the bottom, I've got my edges, there's like a big center block, there's an edge here. And then I get to the last layer. And you normally are going to be using your normal 3x3 solution method when you get to the last layer. And I'm going to show you some cool shortcuts here. So I would usually, if I'm using, especially if you're just a beginner and you're just starting out, you're going to be using usually a 4-step, sometimes even more, way to solve the last layer. And you would first start by trying to get a plus sign here. And you would notice here that I have one edge from the top. And normally you have either no edges, and you sort of have one of those dot cases, or you have two edges. So you might have a line across or like a little sort of bracket shape, like a L or a backwards L or something. Or you could just already have your plus sign. But here I don't, I just have one. So I immediately already know that I have orientation parity. It turns out this is not a possible case on a 3x3. I would, if my white center is the center on top, that means I should have a white cross on this side. I should always have an even number or none, with, I guess technically even. I should always have an even number of edges facing up here, but I have an odd number. So as soon as I see that I have an odd number, or I could also have 3 edges up here. So I've got a white, a white, a white, that's 3, but the last one is not white. So I immediately know that I have orientation parity. So I'm going to use my intuitive orientation case for this one. So I'm just going to walk you through. We're not going to worry about the theory. I'm just going to show you what would I do in a solve. So to do in a solve, I'm just repeating that sequence of up, top twice, up, top twice, up, top twice, up, top twice, up. Once my centers are solved again, the thing I notice right now is that my edges are goofed up. So these are all broken. They're not working correctly, all that. So that means that I need to solve my edges again. And I usually solve my edges by having them in this kind of band between the up and the down faces. So kind of in this band here. So I'm going to just flip the cube over. I'm going to mess up all my 3x3 stuff, but that's fine. I know this is going to happen in this case. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start fixing my edges. So I'm going to make a pair here. When I bring back, I'm going to have a blue-white. So I'm going to take that blue-white up. Okay, so I've got that done here. I've got a pair here and the same color pair there. So I'm going to bring that down. I do this sort of like slice it over, and I kind of flip that edge in its place, and then I bring it back, and okay, so I've got my edges paired up again. My 3x3 is gone, just basically completely messed up. But you can just start over your 3x3 solve. So say, okay, well, let me just start solving the 3x3 again. And so I'm going to kind of do a little bit faster method here than the beginner method, but the idea is you would just use whatever your normal solution method is here. Okay, so I'm making cases here. All right, and then the very last step. Okay, so notice I don't have orientation parity this time. I was actually able to fix that, but I ran into the permutation parity. So when I have the permutation parity, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, okay, I have permutation parity, so I'm going to do the move for that, which is the right twice, the top twice, the right twice, the double layer, top twice, right twice again. Remember the symmetry here, so I'm not messing up the centers by doing that last right twice, and then that last one here, and yay, we're done. So we had both parity cases here, but that's just kind of an example walkthrough solve about how to fix both. So if you were looking at my theory videos and it was way too much all at once, this is a good video to look at just to get an idea of like, what exactly are we doing? How does that work? So there you are, everybody. Thanks very much for watching.